Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka, and Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everyone. May 2025 be the best year yet. Safe, happy, and healthy. Okay. Now, about 3 years ago, a little show came on Netflix called Squid Game, and it became a world renowned blockbuster success. Okay. 3+ years later, we have the sequel or the season two, however you want to say it. They say Squid Game 2, or it could be Squid Game season 2, whatever. Point is, it's the continuation of Squid Game. All right. So happy recap, Raka. Tell everybody who has seen it or who hasn't seen it, give them the little
All
recap.
right.
Oh,
Based in South Korea, there's this underground to the death match with a ridiculous pot for
yes.
whoever wins. Obviously, Squid Game is the title because the final game, you play a series of games, children games, but with deathly consequences. They pick people explicitly who are down and out, who owe insurmountable large amounts of debt, whether it's gambling or they're loan shark or whatever you want to call it. And so they get desperate people because they know they will go all the way, or most of them will go all the way with this, despite what hangs in the balance. And so the one character that they do follow is a flawed character.
Yes.
And Mr. Seong, and you travel with him, which is to me, it's the great catch of the whole thing. It was clever, it was inventive, it was a nice new spin on this subgenre of death contest. And you get invested with him. And then he's out, then he comes back in. And then he gets to the end, and there's some subplots here and there. And then it's layered, which is actually pretty good too, because you find out as the season one progressed that who's running it, why is this run, who's involved, how to stop it, what the brink of human psychology, how they push you. And so the one survivor who does win it all, he does have a kid. He's estranged. He's a total mess. He's a gambling addict, and he's at that point where he can go visit his kid, change his whole life, but he gets brought back in for this urge to stop it.
Yep.
So the premise of season two is that he's been using that billions, 45.6 billion won, that's his resource to find the game again, get there, and use everything in his power to stop it.
Now, if you guys are wondering, 45.6 billion won is approximately $31.5 million.
It's life changing.
Okay. So, I mean, at least that's what it is now. During the first season, it was 38.5 million, but that's what it is.
Inflation.
There you go. Or
It,
deflation, or
the non-realized truth. Oh my God. Don't even get me started.
yeah. So 2 years later, um, the main character,
456.
yeah, 456, he is trying to find the same guy who gave him the card, who I guess who he basically invites the people to the Squid Game. Okay. And he's hired a bunch of people to find this guy. And eventually they do find him. And this is where when he finds him, he talks to the guy who runs it, basically, who we don't know who he is. I mean, we know who he is because we know the story, but go ahead.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And for everybody listening, this is a podcast reviewing season two. So obviously, as much as we can, we will minimize spoilers. But we really can't do justice in a review if we don't spoil a couple of things. If you intend to still watch this, put us on pause until later. But there's really no way to do this without spoiling a couple of things.
Especially when the whole basis of the of season 2 or Squid Game 2 is, yeah, it's gonna get spoiled. I mean, you know, he goes back. Okay.
It's how things unfold. That's what you
Yeah.
want to find out.
So
We'll keep that to a minimum, but
so basically, I mean, I'm just gonna spoil this part right here. He talks to the guy, the man in the mask. He says he wants to go back to the game because he wants to stop them. He wants to stop the games from happening. And he's like, all right, fine, whatever. Go ahead, try your best, whatever, So
but to rewind that,
mhm.
in episode 1, Bread and Lottery, when he does find the guy, Mr. Train to Busan, when when he does the game and he meets up with him, I thought episode 1 was a sick episode. I thought that was
The first
fantastic. I
three
thought
episodes were fantastic. The first,
I mean,
and
you
then it
talk
kind
about
of,
drama building, and he's like one of those guys you just don't want to mess with.
yeah.
He's
And
he's off his thing.
I really don't want to really comment too much about it, but let's just say they do meet up and they do have an interaction.
Oh, that was
I
tense.
don't, I, but I do not want to spoil that at all.
No, but
So,
it's a worthy first episode.
yeah. And we also the subplot, which in the first season, you guys probably remember, there's a cop who infiltrates the Squid Game, and when he finds out who is actually running the Squid Game or Squid
Man
Game
in the front door.
is actually his brother. Who they thought was I don't know, disappeared, missing, whatever.
Because apparently his wife died or something, and
Yeah.
it just screwed up his whole psyche and the whole thing.
And as the brother, this is all stuff happened in season 1. Asked him to join him. He's like, no way. So he shoots him, and essentially he falls off the cliff. So we think he's dead. It's only other spoiler we'll give. He survives, and he unites forces with 456 to try to bring the Squid Game down. Now,
Yeah, so getting back to it, so you know that he's on the hunt, and like you just said, he has some kind of encounter with the man in the front, and he says, "You want to come back? All right, let's come back." Now, contestant 456 thinks he's really smart, and I don't diss him at all. He's got the money, the resources. He's got like a paramilitary group. He's got everything plotted out. He almost has like the FBI wall in his house, and but he doesn't really. He still underestimates who these people are who
well,
run this thing.
but that's the beauty of the show is like he
He's in
had
over his head.
all this stuff, yet we as the viewer, we know, dude, you don't have it, and you can see it falling apart, and you're like, no, of course not. I mean, you're not gonna go one person, you're not Rambo or Commando or Jason Bourne, John Wick going in there and just throwing down a multi-billion or multi-million dollar freaking game just like that, you know, by
So
yourself.
I don't know how this hit you, but this hit me after I finished binging.
Okay. Well,
His obsession with
mm,
trying to stop the games, his white whale, if you will, in the Moby Dick terms. It's his replacement for gambling.
you know what? At the moment, I didn't think about that, but as a gambling addict, one may say, I mean, he has an addictive personality, so he just replaced
Yes.
one addiction for the other,
And
or
he got consumed by it.
his.
He's consumed by it, and he again, I don't think this is a big spoiler. He again allows his personal life to go down the drain because of this second obsession.
Yeah, and a lot of things happen because of his obsession. A lot of bad things happen, and a lot of people end up dying because of
Oh my god, a lot of people.
because of direct because it's fault, basically. You know what I mean? And I don't want to spoil, who and what and whatever because those are nice little twists or whatever. But and
So wait, let's talk about that without talking about that. What do you think? How do you
all
think
right, let's see. I
the,
mean,
the producers, the writers, and everything, how well of a job you think they did with because it was hard to top what
All
they
right,
did last season.
time out here for a
The
second.
twists and turns.
What are the statutes and the statute limitations for spoilers? I mean, what? It's a week, give or take. Should we just, blow it up?
At this point, not just yet. I mean, can we let's not blow up the hardcore ending. How about that?
Well, the ending. There is no ending.
You just blew it.
No, 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 because everybody knows. Everybody knows. There's a
All right.
third season, a third and final season, or a third and final.
All right. How about this? How about
It
this?
kind of ends. It ends in a cliffhanger, basically. So,
Thanks for everybody for listening to this point. From this point forward,
okay.
we're gonna blow the bridge up.
Spoilers.
We're,
Wait, wait.
we're blowing the bridge up. Here we go. Okay,
All
let's
right.
blow the train up. Okay, so
At the same time, I'm not going to give away
how it happened, everything that happened.
everything that happens, and there's a huge twist. I think through episode 2 or 3, where you come to find out there's a new player, and when you find out who that player is, you're like, "Oh, snap! That's good."
And that's the thing is that the new player, player 001,
Hmm.
and you know this because you've watched season 1, in episode 3, he is the man behind the black mask. He is the man at the front. He is
Exactly.
the guy who runs. He's the showrunner. He's not the funder, the foundation guys in the rich elite, but he is the guy who runs the thing. So you already know as the audience that, oh, this is going to go sideways. You just want to know when.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, basically, 456 is he's so smart to the point where he's predicting the games, which was already foolish. I could have told you that they're going to change the games.
But it was almost like it was an exercise of sorry, really sadistic, twisted to be right next to him, knowing I'm gonna
And
fuck
him,
you up in every move.
yeah, and thwarting him. So now, which is the beauty? Okay, you want to join the games? You want to come back and
Let's
try
twist the
again?
knife.
But I'll be there with you. Let's see if you can win the game now.
And you know what? It's gonna be for season 3, obviously. His deeper backstory of how he was once a pretty good guy, upstanding, family man, everything, and he's turned into this with basically no remorse. Even worse, so he is so sadistic and twisted himself that to the bitter end, he will smile as he twists that knife.
No, I mean it's good. Now, I guess my issue with the series is that it kind of I get you can't do the same exact thing from season 1 and in essence show all the games and play it out that way because it's gonna be only one winner.
But they carved out a clever way to do that by inserting himself in and changing all the games, save for the first one.
Right. But I'm saying it kind of goes from the first 3 or 4 episodes were great to it becoming almost like an action movie pace kind of where
Well, let me ask you this question: you
yeah.
think they over twisted the knife?
No, because I mean, once that big reveal, the big twist happens, you kind of knew. You're just waiting for the other shoe to fall. You're waiting for the eventuality. Now, how are they going to end it? I think season 3, at least I'm hoping, or Squid 3 will be. I'm expecting it to be epic. I'm expecting it to be really, really good, and they've kind of painted themselves into a corner that I'm not sure how they're going to get out of.
All right, so if you hung on this long, we're very grateful. Now the super big spoilers are coming, so you have the very, very last warning, friends, because I'm going to hit it hard now. So,
Good.
so now, yeah, the can is fully open now and is out. Do you think there's something so special about him that they don't want to kill him, despite him almost upending the entire game?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because they haven't shown any of the of the high rollers. They showed in season one, like all those guys in
Yeah,
like,
the
about
rich, rich.
18, the rich. They haven't shown that. They didn't show that at all. So you kind of like
Like you think it's an unwritten rule, no matter what the winner does, you can't touch him. He's the winner,
no, because I don't think it's happened before that a winner has come back.
but he's still a winner.
Yeah, but there's no precedent. So it's like how
Okay, so I'm going. Raka's bringing a suitcase of C4. Here I go. He leads this revolution to the end.
Mhm.
Guns are blazing. Like you said, it metamorphoses into a gunfight at the OK Corral, or in this case, Korea. And
Which was kind of stupid. I mean, I get it. I mean, but I wasn't a big fan of it. I'm like,
I knew that was one of your pet peeves.
it
But
it, it took away the why I like the show because it was kind of
it was
analytical.
clever,
Yeah, it was yeah, clever,
clever
and
and tense.
it just kind of turned kind of Hollywoodized it, and I'm like, eh. I'm like, really? I mean,
The Halloween, I see your point, except for the ending of
hmm,
cliffhangers of season two for everybody. He is caught, not
yeah,
killed.
he's
So,
caught, not killed. The 001, he basically tells him, yeah, not in so much detail what happened, but yeah, that you shit, you're fucked. We got you. That's it.
all right, so let's finish this off before we go into our speculation part.
Hmm.
To this end, from the beginning to this end, what are the big highlights that you liked?
I enjoyed the fact. Well, I enjoyed the fact that it weighs the main characters, like the new characters, were younger, and it kind
They
of
were
gave.
hip. They're like TikTokers and YouTubers.
I know that's a funny guy. I mean, it was that was cool because it kind of brought the next generation into it. So it kind of also made it a little more realistic.
Well, they
You
did.
have-
I also like that they've changed up a lot of things. You have your regular people who are all down and out, but they had the girl who's pregnant.
Yeah, that was a nice twist. Oh, one thing I did like, here you go, which they kind of, I think, there's another subplot where they introduce the POV of one of the
Yes,
soldiers.
one of the
The
triangles.
Yeah, with the triangle that she's an ex-military
Oh,
sniper,
she's cold,
and when you're introduced to her, you're thinking she's going in, and I'm thinking she's going in for another reason, and she's gonna be a contestant. And when it comes out, and she's one of the triangles, I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
and she's got a rough backstory.
Yes, she does.
I mean, she lost her kid. She's a North Korean soldier. She escaped. She tried to, and she's a dead shot. Oh, she's dead shot. But and she's got the thing on the wrist. So she's living down and out in her car. She's trying to find her daughter if she'd survive. I guess escaping the demilitarized zone. The guys who did help her out said uh they never seen anybody take on all these military guys. One shot, one shot, one shot, just drop them like flies. I mean, she was like deadly, deadly. And she's got a sick backstory. I'm sure that's going to come into play because it didn't go all the way. There
Well,
was that tense moment where the other triangles were told to kind of keep her in line, and that was raw.
yeah, because you have the other backstory is that now they aren't necessarily killing all of them. They're maiming them so they can they could use their bodies and take organs for organs.
Oh, that was another. I mean, I like that this was layered in other ways and it added more depth. Um, the underground profiteering from the organ harvesting was another layer. I was like, another. Oh shit! It kept me so interested along the way because they added these new nuances, and then you have the, I guess, comic relief. The old lady and the son, which is, you think it can go kind of ho hum stereotypical, which it kind of was, but it was a nice little dimension, a little comic relief from the seriousness and the tone. Some of the games they played was actually to me one of the weaker points.
Yeah, you had
The relay race
yeah,
was
the red light, green light was a staple from the original, and you had the other ones were yeah they weren't that cool.
that was one of my first pet peeves.
What the relay race?
Okay, for all those listening, you probably I hope watched it. For all those watching on our YouTube channel, 456 is doing this, talking as he talks. He's moving. I can see his mouth move, his head bob, and his arm move.
Yes, and he's moving. And so I'm saying is, I mean, so it's like,
How does he not get popped?
well, a lot of people were like, some were shaking and they got shot. So if you're shaking and you're nervous, are you moving? You're moving, but are you moving? You know?
I mean,
And he's doing nerve.
yeah,
He's hurt.
I appreciate what they tried to accomplish, but there was some holes in that whole thing. Um, I can let that go because I wanted to see, the culling begins there, and then the first reaction of the people who thought this is simple games. No, this is death games, and the vote is the second nuance. I was a little because now they allow you to vote after every
Mhm.
game. To me, it got a little tiresome, and I thought it was a little too drawn out when they
They
actually
had
did the
almost a whole episode. They had almost a whole, like, it was a good, you know what I mean? The only thing was left was showing every single freaking
I
vote.
know. I was like, dude, there's 500 people here.
Yeah.
You
So,
know, so so that was the only thing. Like, I didn't necessarily have to see everybody. You could have done a fast forward thing, make it like just speed it up and
yeah.
a couple things. So that was the only thing. If I can be, if you want to be fair, um, the the one thing I did like, it was similar to the first game, so it wasn't really too. It's when they embed a situation where you call each other when they put the fork
Oh,
in
yeah.
the sushi roll, and it was on. And that's when, yes, Squid Game transitions from psychological thriller
Yeah.
to
To the
to
Hunger Games.
Punisher,
I mean, yeah. I mean,
to Prison Break and Oz, and which again I did not hate so much. It added a different dimension.
but at the same time, see, there it goes. It changed, and I think it had to do a lot with them being younger younger contestants, who would do something like that, more spur of the moment as opposed to an older guy wouldn't probably do that because he's been weathered and he has more life experience and wouldn't get to that point. I mean, the game where they had like the musical chairs kind of sort of it was where they had
It
where
was
they
like reverse musical chairs.
yeah it was that
That
was
was
that
chaos.
was
I
pretty,
actually
that was pretty
like
awesome.
that.
That was good.
I like that one. And then they leave a little window for you to either, if you
View
the rules, you get popped.
the
If
massacre.
you could watch, yeah, you could witness the massacre. And the tunes were all freaking crazy. They're all child tunes, even
Yeah.
though in Korean and some, it was like it was full cycle, which I totally appreciate. That's
Now, speaking of which, I mean, out of curiosity, do you watch it dubbed or you watch it freaking subtitles? I'm a
this is a big bone of contention that I butted heads with other people in the household. So I had to, for myself, due to how I was watching it, which also was doing a few other things at the same time, but I found it better for me if I watched it dubbed and subtitled. I know, I
come
know,
on, man.
I know, but
Oh
there
boy,
were moments I, I couldn't. I It was easier for me, even though maybe it lost a little in translation. Everyone's telling me to listen to it in Korean and just read the subtitle.
that's how I watch it. Well, that's how I watch every show. So to be honest, I mean, I mean,
Don't here's my reasoning. I don't like reading a movie.
but if the movie's good enough, you'll get into it and it'll seem like second nature.
And I get it because it is a hard detachment to realize those words are coming out of their mouths.
Well,
And
it's
there's some loss
it's
in
yeah,
charisma.
but you also but you get the feeling and the emotion on the acting, which you don't get. I mean, and mind you,
Well,
the dub is pretty decent. It's not. I mean, because
that's the exact reason why I watch it, because I I would rather see their facial expressions and things in that background happening than have my eyes focus on the words.
I read quickly, so that's I guess that
No,
kind of
I have no apologies. I read really slow. I'm good with that.
heck, uh, a Spanish movie. I'll watch it. I'll
Yeah, but that's different.
I'll
That's
watch in
different.
Spanish and I'll freaking and I'll have the freaking whatever.
No,
Yeah,
no, I'm with you there. When I watch um the Filipino horror movie,
yeah.
the hell's the name of it? Good lord.
Outside was it outside? No,
Outside. Then I watched Block Z and I watched another movie. I I listened to it all, the whole thing in Filipino,
so there you go. See,
because and if there was things that went beyond me, I did have the subtitles on the bottom, but most of the time I listened and watched in its regular. But that was different, because I could tune in a little bit. Um, for this is complete. I needed it. I needed it. Anyway, okay. Anything else you want to touch on that we didn't cover, or an observation or something before we go into predictions?
I mean,
Well, now that we're pretty much in conclusion, the totality of season two.
right.
How do you feel?
Look, after having days to mull it over, because I think I saw it like the day it came out or the next morning it came out. It was good. It's not as good as the first one. I had a little issue because it went a little too actiony for me, and it kind of missed the essence of it. But I get it, and I'm expecting, like I mentioned before, a really really good third season for to end it, and I'm waiting for I mean, I think it's kind of unnecessary that the whole cop, that whole other subplot is kind of useless, man.
I think I'm guessing.
I mean, it's like for that they should have just killed him off because I mean, it kind of really. I mean, unless I'm assuming gonna have a bigger role in
Exactly.
in part three,
Oh
but
well, it almost has to, because he is he is face down fucked.
yeah,
So with his microchip on his tooth, implant was already gone. They searching the area, didn't know. The guy on the fisherman boat, again, we're blowing everything up, so it doesn't matter. The fisherman boat guy, he's in on it. So every if in terms of gambling, the odds are way stacked against his favor. He needs that cop, and whatever forces the other guy, to his second guy now who's following him,
yeah,
um, that's his only lifeline.
right.
He is completely dead in the water, so he needs it. I think they're going to become very pivotal. If anything, they need to. Um, so Squid Game season two breaks another Netflix record.
Well, there you go. Look at that.
So you cannot. It racked up here, according to Forbes, 68 million views in its premiere week. So Netflix, after the Jake Paul, no, the Paul, I forgot which Paul, the Paul Tyson debacle, they clean up nicely with the beginning of the year with the previous record they had was 50 million views. This is 68 million views. Okay. Find me other shows that do that. Holy freaking cow. That's insane.
Well, I mean, at least it's good news that Squid Game 3 will probably be here in 2025.
And I hope so. That's the other thing.
Huang Dong Yuk, he said it's closer, might even be potentially just a half year until Squid Game returns.
Thank God,
So,
because you have some crap like the other Netflix debacle.
Stranger Things.
Yes. I mean, it's been what, a decade? I mean, Jesus Christ.
You know what? Let me go on a tangent for a second.
Please.
Does anyone actually give a fuck? actually care about Stranger Things right now.
Right now, when they do come on scene, I think three of them are married with children.
I mean, I really don't care. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it ended. That's it. Boom, whatever. Vecna won. That's it. They killed Vecna, whatever the fuck it was, and then that was it. You know what I mean? Because
Uh,
I really don't care. I
well,
mean,
listen, Game of Thrones did the same thing.
no, see, that's not
Did I touch a
not
nerve?
go there because as bad as the last season of Game of Thrones was,
Very bad.
we can talk about that later on, on another episode or whatever.
When you're over it.
I'm never gonna be over it. No, never, never. The North remembers. Okay, but
Winter is gone.
winter's here. Um,
It's gone.
it was still a top 5 series of all time for me, even with that bad season. While Stranger Things
Vecna who?
isn't even better than freaking than The Strain to me. You know,
Three
but
seasons.
out very very good. You know,
Which shameless plug, our review of The Strain has now hit one of our record highs, which is
yeah.
phenomenal.
So check that out
All right, so I'm with you there. I think the cop plays into it, has to. Obviously, the triangle shooter is going to play into it. And my question is, do you think in Squid Game 3,
Hmm.
the elite actually get taken down?
Probably what I would do. Obviously, me and my disdain for Hollywood and Hollywood endings.
Happy endings?
Yeah, I would have him get close but fail.
I was going to ask you, that was my follow up question. Do you think player 4, 5, 6 survives?
No, I don't think he survives.
I agree.
I don't think he survives. I mean, I think the way Korean television is, we've seen enough main characters kick the bucket, and you thought they were not. Heck, to the point where you have even characters, even in this season, who you thought would be around to the end, were dispatched fairly quickly and without prejudice. Very, I mean, you know. So the bathroom scene, and
But season 2, as
yes,
far as Squid Game's game, didn't end.
no,
So, I mean, if there was 100 plus left after what happens at this, there's maybe a handful, and they still have to play the Squid
it's
Game.
probably I'd say maybe, geez, I don't even know what, maybe 40 or 50 left. That
Oh,
probably at this point.
it was bloodbath.
Yeah, after that, as Rocco mentioned, the culling. I felt, oh my goodness, it was. I mean, so
But the mom and the kid, the son survive. The soldier who's looking for operations to change survives.
no, can we just say what a badass,
Yes,
what a badass they were? That was pretty awesome. Which
yes.
you
I
know,
mean,
I know people will have. I mean, some people will have problems with it, but
yeah,
you know,
but
but I thought,
but
I
I
thought,
thought that was
I
a
thought they were
clever.
awesome.
That was clever for them to make that individual like elite Green Beret kind of.
Well, they were like an army ranger,
Yeah, and he just Swiss cheesing himself through that.
yeah.
That
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but he had all the ammo, and it's like, was about to go Rambo style. They're like, no, 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 stop, stop.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's like know when to say when. So somehow season 3 will include the conclusion of the actual Squid Game, what happens to 4, 5, 6, the
Mhm.
cop, the other guy on the boat, and the triangle soldier
Right,
who's
and not to
clearly affecting
the contestants, the mom and the
and
mom,
the elite and the elite.
mom
So
and
you know
son.
what?
You have the
This was actually
army
7.
ranger. You have the father of the little girl who's sick,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
also alive. You know,
Oh, there was some gritty end into that ending. There was some gritty scenes. So This was only 7 episodes as
Yeah.
opposed to 9 in the first one. I'm looking towards 3 to go. It's got to be closer to 9 to fill to answer everything that needs
What?
to
I don't even think we need nine. Why would we need nine? I mean, if
go to
you
8. Happy 8.
give me a quality three,
No, what's wrong
give
with
me
you?
five. Five.
Quality.
I'll go with five. I'm good with
What
five.
series runs 5? But don't give me 5 and they're an hour and 15 each, like Stranger Things.
Well, I mean, what's the difference then? I mean, so we want nine of like 37 minutes
I'll
at least.
do 9. I'll do 9:37.
No, for that give me 7 hour episodes like we had.
Look at us talking about a bunch of gamblers. Oh my god!
I mean, well, I mean, uh,
All right, put your stamp on it. Season 2, Squid Games. Good calamari, bad calamari. What?
it was not the best calamari, but it was tasty. Okay, not the best quality. It would probably be, let's say, I mean, I don't know. You go to good Italian restaurant. This is not Olive Garden, obviously, but it's somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean?
All right. So if Squid Game 1 was a 9,
Mhm.
and we don't argue too much about it. Let's say it's a 9. What is this?
Like a six and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought
Six and a
this
half,
is a 9.
maybe
This is like
seven.
it.
I gave it a six on my initial review.
Wow, really? I give it a high 7.
Thinking about it, I mean, it's probably closer to a seven. But I guess in the moment I was like, man.
The ending left a bad taste. This last episode probably left that bad taste.
So I mean,
I liked it all. I give it a high.
because I mean, as good as the twist was, then everything else was so predictable towards and I'm like, oh man, and it kind of like I said, left a little sour taste in my mouth. I,
Aftertaste was
I'm fully engrossed and I'm fully looking forward to part three, and I'm expecting at least a nine for part three. I'm expecting it to be a humdinger, a slam bam decky man, a really good a really good season. I'm expecting. I mean, maybe I'm setting myself up for failure or for disappointment. I mean, possible, probable, but I'm hoping for some good stuff.
all right. Well, we both agree it is binge worthy. It is enjoyable. It
100%.
up to season 1.
Especially if you're a fan of Squid Game One, you have to watch this and watch it sooner rather than later because many people are spoiling it. Not to mention, I mean, it's gonna,
Look in the mirror much?
yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, look, it's watch it, watch.
Well, with
It's a fairly easy binge as well.
with over 300 million views right now, there's a few people left that haven't binged it.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, geez, Louise. But
Thanks for listening, everybody. More to come. And if you haven't already, we already posted and did our end of the year award for best movie, best horror movie, best performance, blah, 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 blah. Please check us out. Tell us what you think. We do have a little bit of a horror angle, but we watch everything and anything, rom-coms and etc.
and obviously there's movies that are and shows that have been omitted because we did it approximately 2 weeks before, maybe a week and a half ago. So Squid Game isn't in the list, which would have been on the list.
It'll be
But
on next year, and Nosferatu will be
Paratu should have been on the list. Probably would have been near the top again. Not on the list. Will be there next year.
But same deal. I just saw Sonic 3 and I thought it was the best of the Sonics, and it actually would have been in
Sonic
consideration.
3 would have been also on the list.
Phenomenal. And again, Jim Carrey, I mean, he unretires just for this, and he puts everything in. I was hemorrhaging at one point. It was hysterical. Okay. Thanks for listening and subscribing. To remember, always save the whales. I am player 666, otherwise known as Raka.
Player 4, 5, 6. Well, not really, but I'm a player in this game, Squid Game of life. I'm Izzy. Take care, everybody. As usual, save the whales.
Happy New Year.